Hello, beautiful people. There are so many things happening as we round out 2020. And I'm sure you've seen people posting about, I'm leaving 2020, bye, I'm ready for 2021. And listen, the reality is we don't know what's going to happen when January comes. We don't know what the future holds. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that we really do not know what the future holds, right? But it got me thinking, and I used to have this tradition that I started in what was the worst year of my life, the very worst. So I had gone through separation and divorce. I found out that my ex had a baby with somebody. I was laid off from a job and had a hard time finding a new one. Just all kinds. I mean, it was a really, really crappy year. I actually remember that I had to start inventorying everything I owned because I thought I was going to have to start selling things and, in order to just be able to pay my bills. It was a really tough year. And I learned a lot in that year, even though it was really a very difficult year. And I got to the end of the year and I decided that I was going to write a letter to that year, an actual letter to the year. And I thought I was doing it because I was like, I need to release this anger and I have to get rid of like all the hurt that this year involves, all the trials and the tribulations. But what happened is as I started to write that letter, it was so healing and cathartic, and it gave me a lot of power back. Because what I found is that when I really looked back at that year, even though it was the worst year of my life from the outside, I had learned so much. I learned how much I could survive. I learned how to reprioritize. I learned that even when life doesn't go as you think it's going to go, it doesn't mean that you can't get back on track. It doesn't mean that even all of those lessons aren't doing something good for you. And I loved that experience. And at the time, I was doing this, what is now, I think, called Twitch, used to be called Justin TV. I was doing this weekly show and I started telling people on there that I was doing this, and people were like, oh, I want to do it too. And people would write their letter. And I kept up this tradition for a number of years because it was so healing and cathartic and just like reminded me of all that I had learned and grown and experienced in that past year. And so with 22, and I've lost that tradition now. I haven't done it for probably 3 or 4 years. But when I'm thinking about 2020, this is a perfect year to start that again, because holy crap, this year has brought so much unknown and so much shifting. I know in my life, I thought if you had asked me a year ago what I'd be doing now, I'd say I would be back on the road. I'd be out traveling the world and living in different countries. And obviously that's not happening at all. And I'm in the Midwest in the snow, in the cold, and it's not at all what I thought my life was going to look like if you asked me a year ago. And there's a lot about this year that I am mad about, but there's a lot that I'm grateful about. And so I'm going to write a letter again this year. And I thought, let's invite other people to this journey. So if you are also thinking about this year and you have mixed emotions and you're like, you know what? There's a lot of crap that happened this year. There's shit that happened this year that I wouldn't want to go through that again, ever. But there are things that I know I learned. So for me, I look back and I'm like, I can see the value of family, and I can see the value of being settled in a place for a little while, because I've been so nomadic in my life that I forgot the value of those things. And I am thankful that I woke up this year to even deeper issues around race that I didn't realize before. And I've been activated in a way that I wasn't. And I'm thankful for that. And there's other things that I'm angry about 2020 about, but I'm also very thankful and grateful. And I want to be conscious and I want to be intentional about when I start 2021 of taking the things with me that I know are good for me and leaving behind what isn't. So anger and bitterness, not good for me, but activation, good for me. Understanding that I have a role, if we're talking specifically around racial justice issues, that I have a role and I have an obligation, I want to take that with me. I want to take with me this idea of slowing down, of making sure that I prioritize the things that actually matter to me. So if you want to join me on this journey, In the comments, in the explanation of this video, there's a link that you can just go register. So this is totally free. I just want to invite you into this process. And what I will do is I will provide prompts for you. So in that space, anybody who's registered, I will also send you a worksheet that you could look at ahead of time if you want to. But I will give you some writing prompts and reflective prompts so that you can think back about this year and pulling out what you want to pull out. If you already know those things, cool, just come and do the exercises with us. And there'll be some time for you to share with other people as well, because I think there's so much to pull out of such a negative season. And, we don't know what 2021 is going to look like. And hopefully it's not 2020 on repeat, but it might be. And so what are we going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle 2021 if it also does not look the way that you were hoping it was going to look? So I hope to see as many of you there as possible. If you're watching now or watching the replay, put a little post in the comments and say that you're watching the replay. If you already know, if you're watching right now, I would love to see, I see there's people live right now. Tell me in the comments, just type something that you have learned in 2020. And listen, I'm also saying this not because I don't want this to be a toxic positivity, like something really crappy and then just think really good. But no, like legitimately, you are all really smart human beings. And I know that so many of you have gained lessons from this year that probably if life would have just kept going as it was, you may not have learned that same lesson, or it may have taken you another decade to get there. When you were forced to stay home, when you were forced now to communicate with family differently, when you were forced to give up all those social things that you relied on for feedback, for fulfillment, and then you had to really go inside to figure out how are you going to do that without those things. There's lessons in all of that, in the slowdown and not being able to do all the things. So I was talking to family over the holidays, and one of my relatives said, this year felt so different because we weren't rushed going from like one show to another, one play to another, one activity to another to see our friends and our family and support them. And on one hand, I missed that. But on the other hand, it felt great to just be like, I'm just focused on the people who are in my household right here in front of me. And I can be really present and focused. And that's actually maybe something I want to think about for next year. And maybe I won't say yes to so many things next year. If everything is, back to normal. So what is it that you've learned? What is it that you have already said, I don't know that I want to go back to the way that it was. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you register, you'll get a Zoom link basically so that you can come join us live. And then I'll send you a worksheet. You'll probably get that on Wednesday. But you can download that and print it, or you can just follow along when we're going through together. Really simple, free for you. I just know this is powerful for me. And I thought, well, let's invite other people into that process. So hope to see you there. I will tell you also, I'm going to offer something really special just to the people who are on that call to help you if you need just a little extra push starting 2021 with clarity and confidence. Something really cool is going to come out of that. So hope to see you there. Just click on the link, register. It's totally free. And we will see you on Wednesday when we can look back at 2020 and say thank you. We can say for some things, listen, we're going to be honest and be like, I remember that very first letter that I wrote in that first year. And I was like, you know what? You can keep this I'm not like, I had so much attitude for that very first year when I wrote a letter to the year that treated me so badly. Oh my gosh, it was so powerful though, you guys. It really was. So I want you to have that experience for 2020 and start off 2021 just with a lot of power and confidence, regardless of how the world around you looks. So sign up on that link Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. I always have to stop and think about the time zones. But let's finish out 2020 really strong and say 2021, we're ready for you, whatever you're bringing. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon, everybody. Don't forget to register, get that link, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.